2025?
In the small business HR space, and we are living through this personally, and I don't know how much you've caught wind of this. A, I don't envy anyone that is a health insurance broker right now. B, I can really relate to, even though we're not benefits brokers, nor we ever will be, we have relationships with our small business clients where we're doing a good job if they feel as though the relationship is such that can keep revealing their people management worries and pains to them. So we can either help them solve it or refer them to somebody who can solve it for them. So, a really long winded way of me telling you, I am saddened by what's become of group health insurance for small businesses. Group health insurance, and whether you're required to offer it or not, whether you're less than 50 employees or more than 50 employees, even if you're less than 50 employees and you've chosen to offer group health insurance, it has become messy and expensive. And it is causing, if I look from 2009 to present, I don't think there has been more angst about my people management labor costs are going to be in subsequent years than what has become of group health insurance. It is becoming a real problem. And when you leverage group health insurance to align with your culture and be a reason why people come to work for you, I wish I could say I saw a solve with this, just like many people worried about health insurance. This is more of you asking me what's the hot topic right now. Group health insurance renewal season, which is now, has not been pretty for a lot of small business owners. And they have my empathy because it wasn't easy for us either.
Okay,
Questions?
well, group health insurance for people who are not in that world has been a nightmare forever.
Well,
What
it's
took
not much
it,
better now.
what took it to this level?
I don't, I don't know. Well, I can tell you what I suspect and also what I don't know. What I suspect is I call it the ACA. I don't call it Obamacare. I don't care. Call it what you want. I think there was good intention behind it, but I think there were always people actively working against it working, coupled with its imperfections have gotten worse. I think there are health insurance carriers that figured out workarounds, which have made, as much as we wanted more options comes with more complexities. More complexities means the everyday small business owner doesn't understand all their options. And so then it begs the question, are you paired with the right broker to make the right decision for the coverage you want to offer versus what you can afford and how that entire process goes in terms of adopting that into your workplace? A really easy fix for that is making sure that you're working with a proactive, modern day broker who is staying on top of all the options available to you. A lot of companies are surprised to find out that even if I only insure 5 people, there might be a different option other than fully insured group health plans, which can be expensive. But now you start to talk about the real reason for insurance, mitigating risk, your risk pool, how it's going to be rated. You need to be working with a good broker to figure all of this out. It just saddens me a great deal where that we are stuck in. So many people don't want socialized medicine, and I get it. But how much longer are we going to be putting all of this pressure on small businesses to keep absorbing the cost of group health insurance to stay competitive? Let me give you a stupid example, a really easy one. Let's just say you're a company that the way you're priced and the way you manage your P&L, you give pay increases that are about 3 to 5% every year. 3% for cost of living, 4% for great performance, 5% for exceptional performance. Let's just use that metrics because that falls into the trap of that's the way we always do pay increases, right? Right? Contrary to my HR done differently. Yeah, what happens if your group health insurance renewal was 15% and the company can't afford to absorb any of that? Okay, you gave a 5% pay increase, but now basic math tells me you're now asking that employee to go backwards in pay by 10% if they're going to keep the same coverage level, which means how are you going to message that, particularly now when inflationary pressures are still so high? So it's just it's a lot to grapple with. And I am genuinely alarmed by what I am hearing from some of our clients about when they go to explore other options and their claims history is reviewed to see what other group health insurance plans they can go on. What should be a younger population, which should be healthier and need less health care. I cannot believe what some of these pharmaceutical costs are as a percentage of claims, and I'm seeing it all over the place, which then again reminds me of some of the things that are need to be fixed in America. Pharmaceutical costs need to be fixed in America. I'm not pretending I have the solution for this. I'm not saying socialized medicine. I'm not saying Medicare for all. I just have a lot of questions about how much worse we're going to let this get before something really becomes a larger problem than it is right now. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so back in the day, were you ever able to take multi-year policy for health group health?
I don't
Or is
think
it,
so. Not that I remember. No.
oh, so it's always been one and done?
Always for from 1993 to present. Yes, I'm dating myself. That's when I actually started in the full-time world in some realm of HR, payroll benefits, and now HR. I've done all of those things plus risk management. So from 1993 to present in a multi-client environment for the most part, I don't remember a year where you could secure coverage for more than 1 year. No.
So every year you're being
Annual enrollment
reevaluated.
has always been a thing. And during annual enrollment, you are either going to keep your existing plan or your employer had chosen to go to another plan, often with better price and better features. But better price and better features hasn't existed for a long time now.
Mike King, Mindy Flanagan here dropping nuggets of knowledge on us
Not
about
very inspiring,
that.
but we all need to band together and figure out a way to solve this because we got a younger generation that's about to eventually take over. And Mike, you remember when we had the housing crash in like 2007, 2008, somewhere in there?
Yeah.
For those of us sitting on the sidelines, we were like for me, because my husband was in the home building industry at the time. I'm watching the price of these houses go way up. But in my profession, I know pay was only going up by a little bit year over year. And in my head, I said, well, how does this work? We're just going to price a lot of people out of housing in a short period of time. And then what happened? It crashed. Are we really prepared to price people so far out of health insurance that think about what might the trickle effect might be in our economy? If more and more people are having to declare medical bankruptcy, you don't think that's going to have a negative effect on our economy? Like there just has to be a solution to this. We are too rich of a country with too many innovative thinkers to not figure out a way to solve this. It's a big concern for me.
What happens to business owners who try to finagle a system and try and cut out health benefits or ways to get around it?
It's a good question. I mean, I've seen plenty of people try to do workarounds, legal or not so legal. And by the way, when they do the not so legal, they're not doing it intentionally. This is complex stuff. I mean, some people decide they want to, just give cash to their employees to go buy their own policy, but there's payroll tax no-nos associated with that, or some sort of benefits law compliance no-nos associated with that. Don't quote me on that. I am HR trained. I am not benefits law trained. I just spend enough time around brokers that I know this. Give cash to somebody to go buy their own health insurance plan on the marketplace does have its risks in terms of compliance. So I've seen people try workarounds, but the other thing that I've seen that is smart is ask instead of assume. We talked about Kim with this several weeks ago. Some of the best benefit brokers I'm working with right now, instead of just assuming you have to offer group health insurance, have you actually really evaluated if your current workforce values it? Why don't you instead think how much money can the company spend on group health and life benefits? And after you survey those employees, you figure out most of them would rather be on their spouse's plan anyway. Figure out a different mix of group health and life benefits you can offer to be aligned with your culture and keep the prospect of attracting future hires still a really good strategy for your company. Every company's different, every employee group is different. One of the things that saddens me, Mike, and it's happening right on our own team, apparently there are larger organizations now offering a $500 a month incentive to employees to keep their spouses and dependents off their group health plan. Like in other words, during annual enrollment, if you are insuring yourself and your spouse, we're going to give you $500 extra a month if you find another way to insure your spouse. And while I get that's legal, I really don't like it. Are we really going to be at a position where we're going to start penalizing people for daring to need health insurance? And then you've got the whole recipe of, okay, we have an employee making X, but their health insurance costs us Y. So because their health insurance costs us Y, they get less of a pay increase than the person who didn't need health insurance at all. You see where this gets tricky?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
That's like back in the day where they would pay people extra who didn't smoke cigarettes.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. But now it turns out those people that smoke cigarettes probably cost your health insurance some big dollars. Not always, but there's some compelling data to say there were a lot of health conditions that your health insurance company had to pay for. Mike, who knows? We could be 30 years out from now and all of the microplastics we're all consuming starts to blow apart health insurance plans. Like no one can even explain the rise in cancer of younger people at the moment, which is another thing that plays into how these health insurance companies are starting to rate risk, I guess. I mean, it's very complicated. And again, I don't pretend to have the solution. All what I know is I am watching the people management cost pressure really be applied hard to small businesses who are already trying to compete with talent against the companies that have a lot more money than they do. And it just saddens me. And then of course on the employee side, this whole we're going to penalize you for daring to need health insurance. The whole thing's just very troubling to me.